Alrighty.
Renegade Supreme. Here on Renegade Supreme, we talk
Welcome.
about pussy.
Welcome to the Windy City,
Ooh, the Windy City.
where we talk about pussy and bussy.
So there are characteristics of human beings, not just women. But I'll speak about the characteristics you can see. And it's attributed to both men and women, but I'll just talk about women specifically. If they got a high forehead, like I do, they gonna fuck. You got that high forehead.
Really?
Yeah. You got a big schnoz.
You tell me it's about having that large prefrontal?
Yeah.
The prefrontal cortex? So, like, a lot of prefrontal? Mm-hmm. You want a lot of fucking...
Yeah, you want a lot of fucking...
You want a frontal.
Yeah. If they got a large nose, like a big nose, like a bird nose, like a macaw, a fucking parrot, a fucking eagle.
Yeah.
They got that big fucking schnoz on them, that big...
I've heard that.
That big nose hitter.
So you fucked a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
A lot.
Then they'll fuck too. If they got them fucked up teeth, then some bitch gonna fuck too. If the motherfucker's got like that, if they have the kind of drawn in, sunk in eyes and sunk in cheeks like a fucking addict, like a junk dealer and a junk taker, they gonna fuck. If you got little, if you, especially if you're a female and you got thin hair, like you bald in at like 13, oh, that's so much fucking. All right, if you got a thick girl,
I'm gonna stop you there.
This is how I know people fucking. This is the things you have to look at when you're out there on the prowl.
Jesus Christ.
And welcome. We're gonna talk about consciousness.
This is part 2 of consciousness.
Part 2.
That reminded me actually of an idea that humans, well, let's just assume we both agree there's spirits, there's humans coming at you live at YouTube.
Yeah, I forgot about
YouTube headquarters right here. Using the best equipment on the market.
Send us money.
Maybe we group in groups of consciousness, right? Because there's people you don't get along with. And there's people like, as much as I'd like to think I'd get along with everybody on Earth, there's probably a good amount of people I just could not do it with. Like I could not just vibe with. And that's okay. We're different. We're different in our desires and consciousnesses. And maybe when we all go back to the original God, that's where you could connect with everybody. And I think that's why religion works so well, because that's like the original consciousness. When you get down to these tendrils, maybe there's certain tendrils that like you and I are a part of. It's like this goofy nonsense tendril, right? Okay. Of consciousness. Or musical, because I'm friends with a lot of musical friends, and
yeah,
there's some people on Earth, they don't care at all about music. They're not even listening to it. And so maybe like that type of thing exists beyond, it's before birth. It's a consciousness there before birth. And we have like families of consciousnesses. Or maybe I'm just pasting on a human idea onto this idea of consciousness.
I think it might be a human idea. Really, that's another thing. Everything seems like a human idea because we are human. It's like, oh, this is what we're thinking about because we're not. But we are still collectively, we're a part of that bigger pie, a part of the puzzle. We're just the pieces. And since we are all the pieces that make up the whole, I think the ideas that we might have that seem so singular as a human idea because it's based on our consciousness and our understanding within the realms of time, I would say yes, that is, but it's going to always have a foot in that more divine world, that like greater consciousness. I do think we flock together like birds of the feather flock together kind of thing.
Birds of a feather, we flock together.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
And if we got a problem, we talk together.
Oh, yeah. And if you want it, if you don't want it, you just close your legs together.
Oh, my
Dude,
God.
everything goes back to fucking with me.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's good.
So the tendrils you were talking about, this pocket or these groups of consciousness, I like that idea because in this compartmentalized idea, almost, I think we've actually kind of picked up exactly where we left off. We mentioned this idea of the gods, and then God, the Christian God being...
Why do we always create, even if it's a religion that is monotheistic, we always create these sectors of God?
Maybe... Oh, that goes to that question you just said of this human idea. Is that because we have an understanding within time, and that's the only way for us to maybe kind of communicate? But I wouldn't say. I'd say that's a more...
I don't know. I think it's more of just...
way of understanding.
It's the way consciousness just ends up being like...
Just as our brain has different
like the brain is
components.
branches like in a tree, and there's a singular trunk.
So,
but that
it's a
trunk
root system, right?
It's a root, it's like a mycelium. It's a network of branches, but it all can lead back to one. But it is all one in itself,
and it has to work that way. Like it doesn't have to, but it does, because everything that is in front of us, plants, trees, and stuff, they have like a root system-esque. They have their branches up.
Yeah.
Right. You have the grains within. You ever heard of when you're cooking meat and then afterwards you cut it? Cut with the grain, right? There's grains, there's strings, there's fibers, there's vibrations.
I think it's cut against the grain.
Yeah, just cut against the grain, and it's hard.
No, you cut against it, so it's more tender. I thought.
Oh,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I was always told you go with the grain when you cut it, because it's the same with woodworking. Because I used to build cabinets in cabinet shop. You cut against it, it'll splinter and like throw up and easier chip. So you go with the grain.
Yeah.
So it's the idea when you're cutting chicken, especially, if you cut along the grains of it, it's easier to cut than if you go against it, and it won't be such a true and like a clean cut.
Oh.
But my idea of using that was that there's grains, there's fibers, there's roots, and like everything. We have our own root system, the skin, which is the largest organ, taking in oils and things get absorbed through our skin. We have a kind of root system, right? We have
in our stomach the bacteria.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that is how it works, right? That's how it works. Y'all listen to this. We fucking know. That's how it fucking works.
It's the roots.
Yeah. And if you don't agree,
well, I guess it's that
your
idea.
Roots are fucked up.
What is in the micro is the macro. There's you could see like reflections of the same ideas throughout the cosmos. There's a video I watched by Paul Stamets. He's a mycologist, so he researches the mycelium in the soil.
A mycologist, always?
And so the mycelium is this network, and he says the mycelium mimics the network that's in the brain, and both of those mimic the network that is the internet. The internet, like visualized, it looks just like a mycelium.
Wow.
It's absurd. But then he also connects it to the furthest representation that we have of the universe right now, and it looks like webs. It looks like a network. And he's like, he in his belief, he says, consciousness evolves as a network. It evolves as mycelium is like the first network of consciousness that evolved on this planet, and he says he believes it's the first biological evolution of consciousness on any planet that would support life, would be some sort of mycelial network in the soil. And so the big is in the small and the small is in the big, that kind of idea. But like this idea that there's tendrils, there's groups of consciousnesses of people who like certain things. Like when I get involved with the drummer or musician, we like click oftentimes on so many different levels besides drumming. It's beliefs, it's jokes, I would maybe propose the idea that that's what brings us types of people together. Like, why are we both here talking to each other? We were both on Maui randomly, like working a job or like meeting through random people, but those people are also kind of in this sort of family of thinking that we get along with.
Yeah, it's in their own network.
But there's people right down the road who are the opposite of that, people we worked for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like maybe there's something that brings people together that we don't see.
Oh, so that's that it's kind of invisible hand, like the economy. What is it? Did you
Yeah.
ever take economics? economics?
No, but I've learned about
Kind of like the invisible hand that like runs the economy. Like we have our hand in it, but there's like some natural unknowing
order or law,
that runs with it, which is that's how then other things come about. Everyone's like, oh, we created this, and then it's like natural selection, capitalism, like even a communal, communistic kind of more equal thing. All these systems we say we came up with and we introduced, but there's a natural like way that those things came about, of why those things came about. So could we then, not closing the conversation, but I just, for some reason, I feel like you're the man to ask about. If we say that consciousness is consciousness in a bigger consciousness, it's like a wider thing. It's all encapsulated within something bigger, and it's infinitive. It's without time. We kind of touched on all that. Do you think that well, I think you already said you believe there's other consciousness, but is there consciousness in our stomach?
Yeah.
Is there consciousness in our reproductive sack of fucking Santa Claus bag, and in the ovaries, and in the, like, is there consciousness? Because those are the keys to life, right? And then what about in the brain? So
I would argue that you know more about this because you're Indian. And you know what they know about? They know about them chocolates. I'm sorry, chakras.
Chocolate
You got
chakras?
them. Well, you're chocolate.
Chocolate chakras.
But and I've done light reading on this, but I'm interested because I've done meditations on focusing on each of the chakras, or at least a few of them, and you have like the root, the sacral, the solar plexus. These are and I think it's a thing in Chinese medicine too. These are energy centers. Energy vortices in the body, the balls, the taint, the big toe,
Hell yeah.
the left toe. No, I'm just kidding.
Fetish boy.
But there's 7.
Back up.
There's the sacral, which is your balls, I think. There's the root or whatever. There's the solar plexus. There's the heart. There's the throat. There's the third eye, and then there's the crown. That's the Sean version. Those were wrong, but there's 7, and
Chocolate version.
they're all chocolate, and you go, nom, nom, nom. This one's milk chocolate. This one's caramel. This one's dark chocolate. Dude, we should make a fucking whole fucking spiritual practice of like the chocolates, and you have to unlock them by eating chocolate.
If you eat someone's sacral chocolate chakra, you're
eating shit. You're eating shit.
You become you get their other fucking conscious. Like you get their sacral. What have you fucking eaten their whole fucking consciousness?
If you eat their sac, do you get their sacral?
Yeah.
No, but I think there's conscious in the body, yeah. And that could be
once again a different type of consciousness, but it's still there.
One we're maybe disconnected with.
Oh, and that's why we have so many health problems.
Yeah, I mean,
and life problems in general.
There's a lot of theories to that.
Figure out ATM.
But like
chakras out, bitch.
Heart problems, digestive problems. There's it's thought to like if you focus there, breathe there, you can heal those in a matter very quickly. In chiropractic, they believe that the misalignment of the spine constricts nerves from those locations, and that itself will cause problems like adrenal problems and stomach problems. And so going to a chiropractor and having that adjustment relieves the pressure on the wires, the nerves that flow the information, and that itself opens up the chakra.
Fuck yeah. Dude,
So
I didn't realize chiropractoring.
But there's so many different ways to go because there's so many different angles. You can go from the physical side of things or from the energetic side of things. But I think, there's a consciousness in our bodies everywhere, our pinkies, but there's big energy centers in these places. And they all correspond, when you look at the biology of a body, they correspond with glands. So the testes, things like the pancreas, the thyroid gland, the heart, and I think that's the thymus gland there. And the glands are what release hormones. They release basically information and tells the body what to do. Like, about the thyroid. the thyroid is you could make you gain weight or lose weight depending on how
It
much.
can fuck your whole shit up, man.
You can fuck your whole shit up, but that's in I don't know what I guess it'd be Hinduism or Indian spirituality. The thyroid is associated with your ability to speak up for yourself and to speak in terms of what you believe.
Really?
And like it could be thought that certain healing practices are speaking your mind, shouting,
Oh, amen to that.
yelling,
Yes, sir.
that kind of thing, letting it
Bag
out.
up.
Bag up. And then the brain chakra is associated with the pineal gland, which is the center of your brain. The pineal gland is what like the Egyptians based the Eye of Horus off of.
Yeah, Horus.
If you cut the brain in half, it looks like the Eye of Horus, and that the center of the eye is the pineal gland.
Oh, shit.
It's crazy. Yeah, those Egyptians, they were cutting brains, dude.
Yeah, those Egyptians were smart as fuck. They're fucking smart motherfuckers.
Egyptians.
Smart fucking cat loving fucking sphinx.
Dude, that's when I knew the Egyptians were fucked.
Because they love
They
cats.
love cats, dude.
It's like they almost got it right. It's like you're supposed to love pussy, not cats. Like,
They're like, we read the text wrong. Pussy, cat, no.
some Egyptian fucking pharaoh's just like, I guess we just gotta start fucking cats. Just one dude's like, I'm a peasant. I can't say anything, but it's pussy. I know it is. I know it is. Oh, fuck it.
It's pussy. Kill him.
I can read. That's true. So the glands. The thyroid thing was cool that you were talking about. One, the pineal gland, the pineal or pineal, how do we say it? What is it about?
Pineal, because I think it's kind of in the shape of a pine cone.
Oh, okay.
Someone connected it to me that the top of a pope's staff, the reason it's that shape is because of the pineal
gland?
I don't know.
I also do believe, on a side note, when it comes to... Oh, I see you've undressed for this video episode.
See how I need to gain weight.
Dude, I
stopped eating after the fires happened because I felt guilty. And I've just been drinking coffee and it's been not working out. I need to just eat food.
When the fires happened, I just started fucking and stopped eating.
That drains you out, dude. It takes it out of your muscles.
Yeah.
My gains, non-existent.
I got no gains.
Fast forward like 6 months from now, I'm like fucking yoked.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck.
You can get yoked more if you fuse your glands with other glands. But I
Smash them. Just
just jamming your meat into any
saying
fucking...
make babies.
Yeah. Dude, make babies, jam your meat into fucking any hole.
How many
you
kids
like.
do you have that you don't
How
know
many
about?
kids I have? I think a good number would be like 3 or 5. You know? Dude, sometimes I'll get to thinking about the different sexual interactions that I've had, the sexual escapades, and like one will always pop into my mind. I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot about that. I'm like, damn, that was a Mexican bitch. I'll be like, damn, that was an African bitch. Or I'll be like, damn, that was almost an Indian bitch. You know?
Almost.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been with Indians.
Really?
My people.
So you don't have mommy issues.
Yeah, no.
You're one of the first people I've met without mommy issues.
Yeah. I've been with everybody like my dad. It's like, oh shit, you didn't have mommy, she's got dad issues. Fuck, stop listening.
I love them blonde-haired, blue-eyed women and men. I mean, women.
It's like the therapist's like, so why do you think you have father issues? Everybody ever been with that long hair? They were women. What is that? My dad's got long hair. They're like, that's not a really good.
It's not how this works. Like,
Oh.
do you like have any issues in your life? Not really.
Yeah.
I think you can leave.
Find out everybody had a mustache too. It's like, okay, maybe he does have some issues.
Everyone
Those mustaches. Yeah.
Oh, I want a movie of this. It's just like the angle of just like you on top, and then like the cover comes off their face, and it's the bushiest mustache, but they're a chick.
Oh yeah, dude. Mustache chicks.
I got a mustache problem.
Yeah, I got a stash.
I need to fuck people with mustache. So okay. Well, what else about consciousness? Do we want to keep going? Or
Yeah, I had some things, if you don't mind. One thing before we move to the conscious, you were talking about the pineal gland. I have heard that drinking like tap water, not trying to care about what you're putting in your temple, will
Right.
prohibit. It'll fuck with your pineal gland, like the things.
Calcify.
Yeah.
It's been said that the fluoride in the water,
And then another thing is,
which
I mean,
typically makes sense,
Right.
Because fluoride, we put fluoride in our toothpaste to calcify our teeth. It binds with calcium.
oh, I didn't know.
And it attracts it. That it helps fill up cavities, but it also doesn't. It can go in the soft tissue, and the idea is that the pineal gland attracts it,
Okay.
and that then it calcifies the pineal gland, and so you have all these hippies trying to decalcify the pineal gland because I don't know.
So they're.
I don't really know what it's supposed to do. Connect you with the gods or something.
I wonder how they're decalcifying. Like they're just burning like fucking faucets and shit. I will fucking never use a faucet that's got fucking fluoride.
Sacrificing fucking cattle.
Fucking burning dictionaries with the word fluoride in it. Just like, fuck it, I can't stand it. Decalcify 2023, bitches. Fuck yeah. You know, have you ever seen the unibrow? The unibrow. Like a legit unibrow.
Oh yeah.
Unibrow is also another characteristic mean you gonna fuck. Like that's why I fuck, because I got one. I just
Do you shave it?
when I was like 16, like it was no big deal because it was just kind of faintly there, and then I realized it and I was like, oh god, I look like a fucking predator.
Pedo?
Yeah, I look like a fucking predator.
Well, you are.
I would, and then I'll forget about it, dude. It'll go fucking months. I don't even think about it. I think I trained my body to be like, stop looking like a pervert. We're gonna hide your true nature as a fucking conscious killer. You know what I mean? So
Maybe it has something to do with like a lot of testosterone, and then
like for hair growth? Nah, it can't be true. There's no way testosterone has anything to do with it. You are correct. I actually forgot that testosterone had to do with hair growth.
my friend was telling me the other day that there's like, when you have an Asian and a white person have a baby, the genetics are such that they do not, if it's a male or female, but they won't break down testosterone. Like they have, it's like a good thing in the modern world because we deal with a lot of toxins and
Yeah.
plastic estrogens, but in like an more ancient world, it could have created like someone very, like, just insane, or just like fired up all the time. But he was like, yeah, there's a certain gene that like for other humans, the testosterone gets converted and it leads to like more hair growth, not like free testosterone for muscle building or something. But he's like, if you're Asian and white, if you're a mix, it's like a perfect mixture. There's a lot of really good genes throughout it. I think that's why Asian women are really attracted to white men.
Oh shit! All natural on that. It's like
That's a real thing, though, right?
Oh, yeah,
I feel like that's a
absolutely.
real thing. But
it's weird.
maybe it's just genetic. Like you know your kids are going to be better because the genetics work out. But yeah, like he was pointing out our friend, and he's like half Asian, half white. I don't know exactly. I think he might be like part. I think he might be part Korean. And he has no body hair. Like produces none, but he just doesn't. He's really skinny, but he's always ripped, and he doesn't work out all that much. And my friend's like, yeah, he's not converting the free testosterone to like growing hair. I don't know if that's true, but
No, it sounds
I
true.
love the idea of
Asians
when
are
you.
slick bastards, bro.
I love the idea of when you fuse certain races, like you get like a more optimal, like I think we all should be having kids with not our race. At this point in human history, like we should be it should be a requirement. It's like, yeah, you can marry that if you're white, you can marry that white chick, but you better be having kids with an Asian, African American, Hispanic,
Well, that's
someone else.
That's why the ones that are like the stars that are like that caramel colored, the cinnamon colored, they're like
yeah.
the best. Like What, Beyonce's fucking
Dude, like Brungo Mungo,
yeah. Ooh, I never even
Bruno
heard.
Mars.
Oh, Brunga. That, I was like, dude, it sounds hot. Fucking. What is the yeah, Beyonce, fucking Rihanna, like these are these like caramel colored people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me, you know what I mean? I'm like caramel colored.
Not me.
No, you're caramel. You're
I'm
caramel.
full Irish.
Yeah, you're Irish.
I was looking at two pictures. It was like a portrait of a black man on Google, and then a portrait of a white man, but the exposure was just different, and I put them back and their skin was the same exact color on the screen, but like the optical illusion, and I was just like, you could argue that under variable lighting we are all the same skin color.
Yeah. When the light is out, we're all the same.
It's true.
In
Exactly,
the darkness, we
yeah.
are one. It's like we all have to.
We all come from the void.
We're all dark. So let me ask you about consciousness.
Yeah.
So we've kind of talked about consciousness and what we think of what it could be. What are you? Since we talked about the chakras, the chakras,
Yeah, the chocolates.
and the glands.
I'm a dark chocolate fan, by the way.
I'm a dark chocolate downtown,
Through
son.
and through, dude.
I got that fucking
Dude,
huge
imagine
dome,
if I just
boy.
had a black cock, dude. That would be incredible. Dude, my sacral chakra
just-
is dark.
But it fades right there by the fucking mound of the pubes, boy. It just fades into it. Fades right into that color.
That would be
a
honestly
lit-
so badass.
That would be, yeah. I feel like that fucking. You got that.
You know how many like
got-
jaw drops that would make? Just
You got that
pull it down
urban
your
cock,
pull down your
son.
pants, just like.
Yeah. Yeah. You got that.
I mean, I already get those
Yeah.
as it is.
You got that Harlem Rooster on you, son. You got that fucking. You got that Brooklyn.
I'm Irish, but I'm black Irish. My friend Jason was telling me,
Brooklyn brick, boy. You got that big.
I know we were talking about consciousness, but my friend Jason was telling me about how the Irish, was it Irish or the Italians? I think it was the Irish, was one of the first communities that were white to accept African Americans in America, because the Irish were essentially like he's like,
Get the fuck away, bitch.
they were essentially like the first marginalized minority that were white, because
Yeah, well, Irish are just like,
they immigrated here
yeah.
during
They're
like
just light skinned, fucking boys,
yeah.
Light skinned hood rats.
But my friend Jason was telling me his dad, or like his uncle or something, was like, their family, it was like seen as wrong, but they were involved with like, I forget, we'd have to have him on the podcast, but it was an interesting idea. I was like, yeah, like I could see where they connect, because if you're, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the Irish, there was like, there were slurs for them. They were like, everyone hated them because they were immigrating
They called
over.
a mix.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I don't know why I just thought of that.
Oh, it's all right. So,
Consciousness. Yes.
yeah, since we've talked about all those little facets and little compartments of consciousness.
How can we use consciousness?
Okay, so then the two questions are on the table. How can we use consciousness, and what are the things that are inhibitors or prohibitors of consciousness? Right?
Oh, what prohibits consciousness?
Yeah, like what are the things?
Dude,
like
social media.
social media, all
Phones,
the plastic in
TV.
the air. Yeah,
Plastic in the air.
small peckers.
I think it's just a lack of silence. And I've noticed this in my own life, especially.
Oh, you said lack of silence.
Yeah.
So too much noise then. Too much.
Too much, just a lack of silence. I mean, a lack of input. I mean, I'm sorry, a lack of time where you have no input. So too much input. And even with me, like I was, after the fires, just like checking social media because the fires, updating myself. and getting to this habit of opening my phone,
Right. I need
even
to know.
even while, but then it got into just me being like, I don't want to hear about this. Let me dull it out. Watch something else, and that kind of like the dulling of me not wanting to feel exactly how I feel in this moment and be conscious of where I am and who I am in the moment of this isness.
Business.
I think it's a huge distraction, and someone framed it to me once. He was like an energy worker guy. There's oftentimes more pain in avoiding pain than there is in the original pain.
Yeah.
So like the pain
Absolutely.
of the fire, the pain of realizing where you are. Oh, I'm unemployed. I don't have enough money, or maybe I won't have enough money, or the pain of I don't know what I'm doing. Avoiding that, constantly looking at your phone. That was something I was doing, and I put my phone down for like a whole day, and like even when I was eating, like I was looking at my phone while I was eating, but I decided to just be right there, focusing on the food. Then you click in to the consciousness, and you click into this new awareness, and it just is so much more vivid. The pain is more vivid for a moment, maybe a few moments, but then it goes away so much quicker, and you rise into this new awareness. And I think that's the biggest thing in modern society is phones. But I think we use so many things to distract ourselves. So someone might not be using a phone, but maybe they're using a book, maybe they're using the TV, maybe they're just constantly thinking about something,
Right.
rather than just letting
So
yourself be
much-
here.
Yeah, so much. Wow, that's a really good point, because that's why I asked
Because phones are
you to repeat it, because at first I was like, oh, like I thought you had said something else, but I needed a recheck on it, like, because I think it was Blaise Pascal said that one of the hardest. This is all verbatim, like this is not the correct quote, but he said something to the effect of one of the hardest things for man to do is to sit in a room alone by himself, and
Right.
and he's from a different generation, different time, yet he's not from like the 1100s or BC days. So I think we have been slowly trying to progress as human beings to get back to that. Because I think you go to
Right.
dawn of man, like we probably were better able to connect with our consciousness and to be silent. And then on our future selves, which we haven't reached, we figure it out. And then we're just kind of in this middle right now. The present,
Where we've fallen,
Yeah.
man has fallen.
yeah. Ooh.
We've fallen from Christ, or whatever they say.
Yeah, we have fallen short.
We've
'cause-
fallen from consciousness a little bit.
Oh shit! Falling from Christ is falling from consciousness. Oh
Ooh,
shit! You hear that, Pastor? You never said that in Sunday sermon, mother.
But I think you have to fall in order to regain it in a stronger way.
Yeah.
You got to know what it's like not to be conscious, to desire to be conscious. Like you have to feel that the pain of dullness, the pain of not really being here. Because at first it's numb and it feels like, comfort, but then you realize it's just an avoiding of
Yeah.
the now.
To connect with that, I talked to a lady and a gentleman the other day in Lahaina Luna. We were making deliveries, me and my friend Nixon. Shout out Nixon. I know you like the podcast. Listen.
Hell yeah.
I wanted to get like kind of some information to put my finger on the pulse of what's going on, even though like we're staying on that side of the west side right now. And I said, so what do you guys think what's going on? What do you think about Green saying we're going to open up? The west side's open. What do you think of this? And do you really think that for like a month or two, like the economy is going to collapse and explode and implode if like the west side doesn't get these hotels and resorts don't? And these two Hawaiians, this gentleman and this lady, were under the impression, one, it's too early, even a month away. And then also that, no, it's not going to implode. But she made a very good point. She said, I think this is a learning experience because all the food that's coming over for relief, it's coming from the other side. And all the food from the other side comes from off the island. all the most of the produce is not coming from where we're at, and almost none of it's coming from the west side where it is all in disaster. So she's like, this is a deeper conversation, a more complex thing to talk about, because we need to take a note of how reliant we are on some of this industry of tourism when we keep saying, oh, Hawaii is working towards sustainability. She's like, nothing on the west side is sustainable. And that's, look at all this, like this is what we need to do. Now, these things with sustainability and eating better food and being sustainable, one, that is just a good practice. I think we get into doing those positive things, and then we stay away from things like social media, and we stay away from the convenience killers and the distractions. I think then we get back into, because she mentioned, like, we need to think about our soil and what's in our soil and how we're polluting it. And she mentioned all these things, and I thought of you with the soil. So we have all these plastics, all these things we're ingesting, the fluoride, messing with our pineal glands, or our pineal glands, or pineal gland, and all those things.
Penile glands.
So you
No,
just,
it's true that the plastics mess with your fucking
it messes with all of
balls,
it.
dude. Your testosterone.
So that's a part of it. Like, these are the things that are prohibiting us, and it can go into a very, all the things we've talked about and that we do talk about in our lives and with each other, I think can be factored down and can be very more complex.
Yeah.
And I do believe that some of the things that are killers is convenience. And those convenience are the distractions. And the distractions are things that we can just engage in, but they're the non-things we don't realize we're engaging with all the plastics and all the different things and chemicals and toxins that are in our environment we've created, right? A part of our convenience society. Those things are like, we're ingesting those in our temple, we don't even know. And going through this idea of working with the soil, back into the food we eat, we can start kind of rewriting and reformulating our temple and our body to where we can see things a little better. And then maybe we'll be more able to connect with our consciousness. Anyways, it just all hit me at once.
Would you say, dude,
It just hit me. It's like, must speak truth.
would you say that we'd be better off going back to like
Hell yeah.
Paleolithic times?
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck anything you want.
Really?
A rock, whatever.
No, but like seriously,
Yeah.
do you think? Because I disagree.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you.
You agree with me? No, but do you think it'd be better to go back to Paleolithic times where we didn't have any of these conveniences, and we just had the fucking the spear and the rocks and the gazelles to hunt or whatever we hunted and
No, I am in agreement with you, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that time was there for a reason, but we move forward and progress. Even when we step backwards, and there's a reason that we've gone to this point.
Right.
Now, does that mean that that we're not making missteps? Absolutely not. We're still falling short here and there, but I like how you phrase that. I don't think we should go back. I think we need to think about where we might have originated and came from, and I think we need to take those things and maybe reinstill some of those ideas and practices and schools of thought in our modern day. But
Right.
yeah, I don't want to go back.
No, you like if you really try, like if you wanted to, like, you could go back. You could go somewhere right now and live like a caveman, but you're not gonna. You're not gonna. I know you're not. Even someone who's super for all that kind of lifestyle, they're not gonna go back because, in my opinion, the consciousness, it was there at one point and it decided to move on.
Yeah.
And it decided that enough of this. We've done this for thousands of years. Something new. Let's experiment. And with that experimentation comes failures, comes falling short, but then adjusting. And the progression is an upward progression. Just like the economy, like the American economy has always gone up, even though there's been huge tanks. The general line is always up.
It's always going up.
Well, so there's I think it's Maya Angelou, a quote I really like.
What a poser.
She says something like, and I'm paraphrasing, but there's a time unto everything. There's a time and a place unto everything. So there's a time for peace, a time for war, a time for joy, a time for sadness. So there's a time where everything is this, that's right. And I think there was a time for that, like Paleolithic stuff.
Yes.
But now is a time of
freedom, boy.
freedom of fucking up, of
Time
experimentation,
of fucking
maybe experimenting too hard.
experimenting with more than one
And
partner.
I think you're right. We're probably going to go back to reconnecting. Maybe it'll be a thing in the future where, when you go to school, you have to go like stand in some dirt barefoot to ground
Yeah.
yourself, and like gardening is a requirement in your class.
and as it should be. I think it'd be very helpful.
I think it would prevent mental health like issues through and through. Like each kid has their own little plot. They garden, so they get to put effort into it.
Fuck yeah. And it's like they're graded on it, but not in necessarily like a numerical or like a.
They're graded on it. They just get to eat the food from it.
And there's
So there's no
my
grade.
food sucks.
Yeah,
It's 'cause
well,
you
'cause you
suck at
fucking
gardening.
suck at gardening, dude.
Yeah, because your parents fucking
didn't-
suck too.
you
Bitch. Your dad's
And you're
ugly.
fat.
Yeah, your dad's fucking
A new
ugly.
form of bullying.
Mom's a fucking whore.
Kids just like destroy other kids' gardens. There's like fucking run their shoes through them and fuck it all up.
Yeah, fuck, some kid named Sid just pissing on everyone else.
Why is it always Sid, dude? That's because he has a shitty name. Yeah. He's like, my parents look at me, I'm stupid.
Have you heard the?
If your name's Sid, your name's not stupid. But if your name's Sydney,
Oh yes, Sydney. Poor
No,
Sydney.
that's a good
Portier, Portier.
yeah.
So, with the gardening and those things, going back to those kind of, let's say, Paleolithic, going back to things that are positive for us, because in our
Gardening wouldn't be Paleolithic. I think it would just be like 100 years ago. Ithic.
gardening, that'd just be fucking
That'd be
smart.
like that'd just be now.
Yeah,
that
right.
and we're dumb and we're not doing it.
There are so many things that are so negative with our progression in society, with our progression in consciousness, our just progression. Like you said, it kind of goes these ups and downs, but things are moving. We have a lot of. I'm sorry, I touched the thing. Fuck. Fuck. Can't even make eye contact anymore. There's so many negative things that we have created with the higher consciousness, like in the status, like where we are now.
Right.
And that's unfortunate. But I think there has to be those negative things. The idea is it's got to be there for the challenge that once we get to where we are right now, the present day, and this is how we like fight against those things. Like we had to get here with these distractions. Like we couldn't have gotten here without those things. Like it's just, these are just like the consequences of it. All the consequential fucking things are,
Yeah.
it's like,
And how could you know what
Yeah, how
improvement
could you?
was
and that's
if
also
you
why
didn't have the opposite, the contrast? Because by contrast, we can understand and have awareness. So consciousness depends almost entirely on contrast.
Yeah, that's why time travel is not a good idea, right? Because you time travel and you just get the answers. And it's like, you've got to go through the problem. You got to do the equation. You got to solve it. You have to be challenged. You can't time travel.
There's no point in being born if you just get the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we're born and we live life to get answers. I think we got all the answers before we're born. We just live
Just
to
working them out.
experience
Yeah, and working
what the truth is.
Into fuck.
And exactly. No, for real though. Like
Yeah, I love
at the end of the day, you got the money, you got the house, you got the job, you got everything. But if you ain't fucking,
Yeah.
what do you got?
You ain't doing shit.
Love is
Yeah,
what makes the world go round. Let's start a love train. People all over the world they don't understand a love train.
A lot of, what the train just had a bunch of little holes. You just, you just always. He was like, "What's he doing? He's on a love train." Just whoop that one going down the fucking train cart. Just whoop that one going
You'll
down.
have to invent it. If everyone signs a waiver, it won't be illegal.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's people into that. There's people into that.
The
dude.
train is Asian.
What?
The train is Asian. You're just fucking an Asian train.
I just had this thought. So, like the Big Bang.
Okay.
The Big Bang happened, right?
The Big Bang. This way. The Big Bang. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Talking about it. Code 45. That Big Bang.
So in the beginning there was God.
Yes.
Or in the beginning was there nothing?
Yes, there was nothing that we understand it as nothing and nothingness, but that nothingness.
Nothing physical, but there's consciousness,
Yeah,
maybe.
because we're trying to describe something that is nothing, and describing anything means there's something, right?
Dude, whoa! 0 is a number. Oh, fuck!
Zero is
Dude, my pineal gland is opening.
It's like, holy shit, you're a smart motherfucker.
So in the beginning, there is the consciousness.
It's that void, right? Nothingness. It's the void.
Right. Well, let's just say in the beginning there was God, and it's singularity, oneness. Everything is that, and there's no duality. It's just singular. If you are God, if you're in that consciousness, it's a singular point. So it's just pure love, right? But how would you really know truly what that love was unless you split yourself and divided and put space in between?
Oh.
And so,
because then to be without, you understand that you need that back.
to be without, to experience
Like to not be
hatred
whole, yeah.
is how you know experientially what love is. But love or joy or that is the truth. That is God. But if God is this huge consciousness, how am I supposed to know like that I'm God? Or how is God supposed to know that God is God? Is what I'm saying.
And maybe this may help with that. The class that I took, we were characteristics, attributes of like the divine of God. And it was, I think I said this on one of the podcasts before, God is the most erotic being. Like the divine is the most erotic being. And
Sexual
God,
energy is
yeah.
spiritual energy.
And God wants like love, glory, love, like wants all these things and cannot give it to himself without then creating some like parts, putting little parts of him out there, creating life and human beings and society and fucking ET over there and fucking, you know what I mean, the LA Lakers over there, just like all these things that then he can get love from, right? Because God isn't enough for himself. God has to piece himself out to then know that he actually is enough for himself. Like you are enough for yourself.
Right.
But like he's got to piece himself out.
That reminds me of a book by, I think it's Neil Donald Walsh, called Conversations with God.
Damn.
And in the book, it was like this guy who was a philosopher. He wanted to know the answers to the universe and stuff. And he like learned every religion and he like struggled trying to find the information. And one day he was like super depressed and he just gave up. And he was like, whatever.
What a bitch.
And then the next day he woke up and there's a voice in his head. He's probably insane, but it's this voice. It's like, I am God. I'll answer your questions. And so the whole book is the conversations he has. And God said to him, because he said, why do we come to earth? And God said to him, you wanted to experience for yourself who I am. So it was like, you little one saw yourself and you said, how do I know? How do I know that I'm love? How do I know? It's all the same here. Because if God exists and God is heaven, and once you go to heaven, it's all going to be the same. And so I'm sure at some point there's going to be some consciousness that wants to go, well, how do we know like what this really is? Let's go experience the darkness. Let's go experience
Yeah.
what it's like to not have this. Let's forget who we are. Let's fall.
Yeah.
And in the book it said, like, basically you read the whole book. The premise is you fall, you forget who you are when you're born, but you never can really forget because it's the truth. It's always there,
Yeah,
and
it's
you
like
eventually
imprinted.
come to it at
Imprinted,
the end of life, or maybe you don't even come to it at the end of life, but when you die, you know. And so you can never go wrong, but we're just here for the first part of life having forgotten who we are. Maybe we do it for a while until we realize that we have creative agency and stuff. So
You gotta try to remember.
it's this idea that a singular, all-loving, all-powerful entity could decide to divide itself in a way that would create a cataclysmic bang, the Big Bang, that would
Okay, I see where you're
create
going.
physical reality itself. Because physical reality itself is separate
Right.
from that. Because consciousness, God, the truth is always non-physical. Every religion, it talks about it in a non-physical way. No one's going, it's the shell. The shell has the answers. Right. No, it's always like you got to pray and meditate. So it's a separated, where physical reality, as convincing as it seems, it's a separated.
I would 100% agree.
It's a separated, and it's.
Well, it goes back to the model of the 1, 2, 3, you know.
Yes.
Because you have to separate from your family, right? The
Right. To be the hero.
and the child has to separate from his family
To be the renegade.
Yeah, and
Of your own supreme.
and then find somebody else. Yeah, absolutely. You know, one thing you touched on that you don't realize is you said the bang. Like, it has to be a bang, the separation. It
Yeah.
has to be an explosion.
It's the creation of duality.
It has to be an explosion. It has
Yeah.
to be something that is somewhat a destruction, like an explosion, because when you fucking jerk it, that sumbitch shoots the fuck out like a bang. When she's fucking playing with that pino cone in her fucking vag, you gotta fucking, it's gotta explode out into
It's an
new
orgasm.
life.
Yeah. It's an
What's it called?
The Big Bang was an orgasm.
It's the
That's
divine
interesting.
orgasm.
Yeah. Wow. And it created life.
And it created life.
It created stars.
Yeah. You think about that, Billy Graham?
And I'm sure there's a mathematical way to say that too. It's like if there's a singularity and it divides itself into two, well, that creation of duality would cause those two to divide themselves, and then it's like this.
It's like a delineation, I think is right. It's just like,
Yeah. Dude, we're smart.
we're like so fucking. We think we're so smart. You knock the microphone. I'm knocking over cover goes. Life is like this, dude. She's knocking all sorts of shit over. It's like John Crumb has come and he's infected our minds. Like, he's away from you. I'm start wearing a cross.
He's increased our ego to 7,000. Dude, we're so smart, dude. We're not even high, dude. We're so smart.
I'm gonna start wearing a cross, dude, to keep John away. I'm gonna start wearing that cross, boy.
I'm the crumb man, and I'm coming for your hands. I'm the crumb man, and I make my high demands. Give me your mind, I'll crumble it to the ground. The crumb man crumbles your psyche till you're drowned.
I thought Crumb was already in you because you went like this, like singularity, and I thought you were doing Black Power, and I thought you were gonna go from here to here. And I was like, holy shit, dude. He's going like all the way.
What?
Fucking all the way, bitch.
Is that Black Power?
You know, for the people, boy.
I was just doing a fist.
Oh.
But you look at your hand and you're like, fist is God, is consciousness. I am fist. I am so smart.
So was God is the divine orgasm that created all life? Is that an asexual process, or is this like a bisexual? Is it a heterosexual? It better be heterosexual, or I'm not talking about it no more. It's not heterosexual.
Phone almost blew over.
The phone almost blew over.
Yeah, we're using a phone to record this. So if you want to support the podcast, patreon.com.
.com/
Renegade Supreme.
Renegade Supreme. Give us money.
Give us.
I've noticed that on
Wait,
every
what were you just talking about? God, it was probably asexual, I guess, or wouldn't be.
I'm not talking about if it's not heterosexual.
Well, maybe I think sexual. Interesting, because we put it under human terms, but God is not a human.
Right.
But sexual could be. I don't know.
I think we can only conceptualize the amount, what we can conceptualize about divinity and about like true consciousness. The ceiling to that is, in our understanding, is as far as human condition and mankind can go.
Yeah, we got a box. We can't go out of it that
and
much.
we'll never know how far we can conceptualize or how much we can understand it until, because like we're not going to be here for like in this form for all mankind, right?
Dude,
so like the
you're
next
so
generation,
smart.
fucking smart.
You're
dude.
so smart. You're talking about how dumb we are. That's the smartest thing I've ever heard.
Give us money. I want people to listen to this podcast, and I want people to tell other people about it. And I envision you telling your friend, like, dude, you should listen to Renegade Supreme. Oh, what are they about?
They're the smartest dumb guys in the world.
Dude, it's a really good, like, it's not like they're not just asking, like, they're not, it's not about fame and fortune. They don't need money. And then they listen in every podcast, money. It's like, I thought you said they didn't ask. Money.
We're so, like, cultured that we just are brutally honest. Say, we want your body.
I want us to get a collection plate like in church and to pass around when we start video episodes. We just get extras and stand-ins from the street and they're just like, thank you so much for changing my life. It's just like giving, but then that's actually how we make money. We're like, we ask to stay in there.
We pass a basket back and forth between you and me, and we each put money in, and we look at the camera. We're like, you guys put money in too.
Put money.
I wanted to say that I think it's a really good point. We can't really think out of a certain boundary that is our human condition.
There are limitations because we're a piece.
We can't think like an alien. We can't think like a snake. Well, a snake, we do have like a reptilian like brain inside of us, so we can probably
a bird brain, son.
But yeah, we can't think far outside the realms of a mammal, and I think it's also it's really hard to conceptualize ideas that are outside of the third dimension, which is just like there's linear time, 3D objects, like to think that there could be a fourth dimension or a fifth dimension, like you can't even imagine what that would look like or how you perceive that. But mathematically they should exist. So.
Amen, amen, baby.
I am Shell Man.
Shell
I'm
head,
one
baby.
with the shell.
You got that shell head.
Dude, the shell contains the Fibonacci sequence, and it's in locking my crown chocolates.
Is that an Italian reference? It sounded like you're eating pasta when you said that. Fibonacci.
Yes, I'd like the Fibonacci with Alfredo.
Like, I didn't know you were.
Dude, that'd be sick. You go to an Italian restaurant, they give you like a spiraled, like fucking Fibonacci sequenced. Do you know what the Fibonacci sequence is?
Like the DNA strands or whatever.
It's like the spiral in that shell right there. It's like in plants and stuff. It's a mathematical sequence of numbers. That is like found all throughout nature.
So is sacred math really like just the reflection of like math in nature?
I would say so, or math in the universe. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's cool shit. It's like, why didn't we learn that in school? They're like, 1 + 1 is 2. It's like,
Dude,
I don't fucking understand.
I don't care.
Yeah,
but if they were like,
this.
dude, 1 + 1 is the universe.
You're like, fuck yeah, I'm
You're
going
like,
to math
dude, I want to jerk off to that.
Yeah, right? Instead of going to the girls' bathroom, remember they're jerking off in the men's, just like, fuck yeah, universe. Did you ever go into the girls' bathroom when you were in grade school?
All
the time.
No, I I think I remember peeking in as I walked by, but have you gone in?
Oh yeah, of course. You know what I mean?
Dude, you freaking crazy son of a
What's
bitch.
funny is
I just,
there's an
for some
amount of
reason, thought about you doing it as an adult, and I got really
all the
scared.
time. Yeah, I still do. You know?
But I realized you were a kid at some point.
yeah.
You were still a perv,
Yeah.
but
Perv, baby, perv. There's a certain amount of mystery to things in life, and when you're a young kid, there's a mystery of like what it is that you're gonna see.
but my mom took me in the women's bathroom. As a
Oh,
kid.
when you're a kid, yeah, because my dad would take like my dad. If it was me and my sister, and we had to not, because let's say my older brother was somewhere else, and he's watching us, and one like my younger sister had to use the restroom, he would take both of us into the men's restroom because he was a male. And then he was like, well, I'll take them in. And that's kind of a thing that parents do. They take their kids with them into their restroom. When I was with my mom, even though I was a boy, she would take me to the women's restroom. And the mystery, and I was saying that, is because what people forget is like, it's not just like dicks and fucking tits and fucking, you know, defecation, urines out in the open and it's fucking crazy odd circus. There's stalls and fucking doors everywhere.
We really could have like all bathrooms could be just non-gendered at this point.
It's just all stalls. But I remember they would take us in there because it's all stalls. And then, you know, and even today, like as an adult, when I go in and I see some dad, he's like, all right, son, come on, fucking hurry up, pull your goddamn pants up, son, come on, hurry up, shit, son. You know what I mean? He's like telling the kids, or it'd be like a little girl, and it's like, it doesn't, like, that's cool because it's a part of the parenting process too. Like they're watching their kids also, they're helping them, and at a young age, fucking the natural thing of fucking, because we have fucked up temples and fucked up soil, like our digestive systems and our whole like thing. I think even at a young age, that's why there's a big push for like what you're giving your kids these days, like your babies, is like, because unfortunately we're starting our generations, every generation out kind of fucked up by what we're allowing them. It's like as soon as a kid can eat solid food, like give them chicken nuggets and a McGriddle, you know, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? So it's a cool thing that like they still, you know.
How did that connect to the bathrooms? I lost that.
Oh no, it's I was talking about going like peeking in the sexual stuff, just like going into the bathrooms
as a result of our soils.
Oh, so there's a thing that it's a loose segue, but this idea that we start our bodies off like right now, we know adults are like, dude, you're fucked up, your temple's fucked up, like with the things that we're ingesting and putting in our temple, food and nutrients, right? But that does start with our soil too, right? Because we're not cultivating our soil, we're not gardening, we're not caring about the things that we're eating, we're just being convenient. And then at a young age, we're starting our kids off, right? When they're children, we're starting them off with fucked up temples. We're fucking their body up ultimately, right? And I was just saying, like, you know, it goes back to with the soil, like we're still not cultivating our soil correctly.
Right, but that makes them pervs?
No, it didn't make them pervs. No.
I don't get the connection to the bathroom. It wasn't a segue. That's why you said it's a bad segue.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the bathrooms, and then like that was
shit. It was a shit that. Oh, I see.
And then I was talking about, dude, like, we were talking about the bathrooms.
The juicy diarrhea, dude.
And then I just thought of those things. It was the bathroom was the segue.
I see. I wanted to say.
Yeah, don't ask me questions. Make you look dumb, John Karamik.
Well, I thought I was understanding something.
No, you're smart.
I was like, I don't understand the connection, and I wanted to make sure you weren't saying that our bad soils create pervs.
Yeah, our bad soils do create. No.
You're like, I was saying that.
I stand by that.
I mean, it could be a.
Messes up all the things.
I think at this point we could have non-gendered bathrooms because it was sort of a male and female bathrooms were developed in a time where men and women had very clear defined roles in society, but now those roles are very blended and they're becoming more blended, for some better and for some worse. And at this point, people are pretty respectful. I think the only reason to have different bathrooms at this point is just for the occasional crazy people.
Yeah.
You know, the occasional time where the fact that this dude has to walk into a man-only bathroom and he's been programmed to do it, he's not gonna do that weird shit he's thinking about doing.
Well, yeah, because you're right. We could have, because just an outhouse,
But-
one bathroom in a house for a family is
Yeah, once you get an outhouse, dude, no one cares because
Yeah.
it smells like shit.
Yeah.
It looks like shit, and you're just there to shit. You're not there,
maybe the idea to start for a non-gendered like bathroom idea is just do like one stall again and just be like, all right, everyone uses it. But I have been told, maybe some friends of mine was there, or maybe I read a book about it, but in India, they just fucking all shit in the same fucking like trough kind of thing. And it's like, you're next to your fucking kid, you're next to the neighbor, you're next to this dude, you're next to this wife. And it's like, you're doing something that's shitty and it's private, but we're all doing it kind of openly in public in one spot. And so there's not, no one's going around.
We're all human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a very Americanized thing to be like, we can't be shitting in the same place, and I can't see someone shit. But it's like, but we're all like human. Yeah, it's like that's something that happens so commonly every day. Like if you raise a child, you're cleaning their shit, you're seeing them shit, but it's just like.
That whole thing that came about is because of, like you mentioned, the crazies. It's because of there are some very perverse people. Right. There are some people that are hardwired, or and then maybe by choice, are very horrendous, and they're doing just terrible, atrocious things.
Yeah.
And that's why there's that fight for this separation, because people are just scared of it, and rightfully so. They should be, because it's unfortunate. However,
do you think that is because? The soils, like,
yeah, I mean, you go down to the soils, the mycelium, the networks that we see in plant, it all affects,
like, and because it's the mental health, which is connected to the nutrients, which is connected to the upbringing, which is connected to the. And I do believe like the increase of like mass shootings and stuff is connected to.
Yeah.
Everyone garden.
What if that was?
God damn. Renegade Supreme, start your garden. That's our slogan, dude. Start your garden and laugh at shit.
Yeah, start your garden and laugh at shit. Bag up, bitch. What if that was like, if it really is like, they have like non-gendered bathrooms?
Start your garden, bitch.
Some dude walks into a non-gendered bathroom. He's just like, walks in and goes, he's like, I'm going to go shoot up a fucking theater. It's like, no, you can't do that.
Wait, because he walks into a non-gender?
Like, to play on the idiocracy of like, it's not going to do that. And I like how what you're talking about is you're talking about the facts, the matter of fact of what it is. Bathrooms are places where we're getting rid of like waste.
Yeah.
And at that level, it doesn't matter about where you go. It just, you go to the place.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone else is saying that because to do that, you are vulnerable with clothes off. Like people are going to be diddling and shit.
Was it the podcast where we were talking about how because we were talking about how fecal matter, especially if it's like healthy, it's one of the most biodiverse substances. Like the colonization of your colon with bacteria is one of the most biodiverse places in the world. It might be the most genetically speaking, the most biodiverse place. And we were saying, I think it was on the podcast, we were talking about how what if aliens, like that's what they're looking for is our poop, because it's like so valuable for like information and some sort of resource, because it takes a whole human life of living to develop that microbiome.
And the consciousness that's in your fucking excrement,
dude. That's what I'm saying though. But like, there's consciousness in your fucking colon,
and because there's bacteria and all sorts of.
And that might be the more conscious part of us that we don't even want to admit.
You're able to take a microscope to people's excrement, and in that colonization, it's like fucking goddamn Nixon's the president over here. Let me go somewhere else. Fucking these are the people that are running. Oh shit! Oh, you got fucking women running this fucking. microbiome.
You take Tim's shit and you zoom in, and there's just some little mustache man, and he's like, "I love fucking." It's like, dude, he's got some fucking
There's some
some interesting bacteria in there.
the aliens got to throw away the shit that it's just like going. Hey, it's like, all right, get rid of this one and actually kill that person. Kill that person.
Antibiotics.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What if you don't know? Like you're a young kid, you're like 5 years old. You don't. People are like, oh, they got so much potential, and the aliens are looking at their fucking microbiome shit, and they can foreshadow what they're gonna be. It's like, oh shit, this kid's gonna turn into a fucking turd. This kid right here is about to fucking.
Or maybe the aliens are like tweaking it.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like,
Fucking tweaking it, showering that back on the soil through the rain because the aliens are why it's raining, and then it goes in.
Are they why it's raining?
Well, I mean, why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they be? I mean,
Oh right, I didn't think about that. Why wouldn't it be?
they have to be. Fucking, I don't know why it rains. What fucking shit goes
So
in the air?
here's an idea: if there are aliens, would they be at a higher consciousness than us, or at the same consciousness, or just different?
They would be in a different plane, a different consciousness. Different consciousness, but the same? Or maybe on the same plane, but different consciousness. Like a different level of it. Because if you're talking about something that is kind of not pulling the strings, but they can maybe interact and affect things differently than we can see and understand, then I would say they'd be on the same plane, but their consciousness is somewhere different. They're understanding something a little different. But then again,
Yeah. So because humanity kind of levels up in consciousness.
Yeah.
You know, we go like eventually we're gonna have to go to a global consciousness where we identify as a world rather than a country. You know, we started off as just identifying by small tribes, then identifying as small towns, and identifying as small cities and big
Right.
cities. And
oh yeah, yeah,
countries.
it's a great way to put it.
Like eventually we can identify
Hell yeah.
as Earthlings. I am beyond that though. I identify as universe being. I am a smorgasbord.
I want people to start giving glory out to John Crumb. I want to have a John Crumb cult, you know what I mean?
I am a crumbling.
Yeah, crumbling.
There's a movie that comes out. It's called The Crumbling.
The crumbling. Yeah.
Rated R.
the
The
credit
Crumbling.
is-
It's just people falling apart.
The credits are even like it shows the word, does the whole like type thing, goes just
The letters fall
just
apart.
fall apart.
Or all meaning. Like we get the movie theaters to like take apart their projectors so they like the whole TV falls apart. The screen comes down.
The movie's just
The chairs fall apart in the theaters. Come to The Crumbling and experience it with all senses.
somebody just blows the theater up. You know what I mean? Just
I'm not laughing at that.
I think it's funny.
Dude, I can't laugh at that. I grew up with like the shooting with the Dark Knight.
Oh shit.
Did you hear about that?
That was in your hometown or in
No. I just remember it being like
Yeah.
a thing. I remember being scared to go to a movie theater.
I mean, that is fucking scary shit, you know? People do. Renegade Supreme, get your garden in shape, bro.
Yeah.
Let's stop the shootings. Stop the hurt. Let's stop the pain. Garden, bitch.
Garden to save the world.
Garden to save the world, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, anything else on consciousness? We could wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I think that's about it. I think we figured out everything. We're
Yeah.
the smartest individuals in the world.
Those are the answers.
West Side, email us.
Yeah, you can go in peace to love and serve the Lord.
And if you hear that little voice and that inkling trying to blow shit up on your shoulder, that's John Crumb. Stay away from that fucker. Stay away from Crumb.
The crumbling begins.
Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, support
All
us
the things.
on Patreon. And
Money.
we check out Tim's thing. Thank you for coming. If you're coming from YouTube, for checking us
Yes.
out. Subscribe to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, whatever you want to do. Listen, share it with your friends if you like it. Is there anything else they got to do? I can't
No,
think
just
of anything.
listen and share. Fucking don't be a bitch. Fucking garden and bag up, boys. Bag up. Hell yeah.
I'm hungry, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah. We need to get food.
Cool. So I feel like we got 2 out of that. Those are 2 good ones. Absolutely. Those are 2 great ones. Let's see if this stopped.